Hi, everyone, and welcome back to this edition of Brave Briefings, a place where brave men and women can come and share tips on how we can be brave in order to have a world devoid of harassment and sexual violence and gender-based violence and domestic violence. So we want to really create a happier world, a peaceful and safe world. So are you brave? Hi, I am Lois, your friend for forgiveness from Walking Without Skin. And today I have another brave woman with me. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, thanks for
Thank you
having me,
so much
Lois.
for thank you so much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
So, as a brave woman, tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm actually from Port Elizabeth, South Africa. Whoop, whoop. I now live in Edinburgh, Scotland, with my beautiful little family. It was quite a disruptive process to move. We actually moved two countries. We first moved to the Netherlands, and then 5 months later, we packed up again and moved to the UK. So it's been a lot of, had to be very brave to make those decisions and leave everything that we love and cherish behind and to start a new life for ourselves. And the reason actually why we decided to leave was because of the violence. We experienced a harrowing home invasion with our little one sleeping in the bed with us, woken up with a torchlight in our face. And, the guy just keep coming for us. You don't know what he's got. Has he got a knife? So it was extremely traumatic. For almost a year, we all slept in one bedroom behind a locked door. We had trelly doors. It was crazy. I created an ulcer in my body because I couldn't sleep. I was addicted to sleeping tablets, trying to just catch a night wink. So yeah, it was quite traumatic. But we had to make the decision that we need to move away. So, and that's obviously comes with different side effects. But in South Africa, I think especially the gender-based violence is extreme. It is completely out of control. I actually wrote a book called Break Those Damn Rules.
Called what? Sorry, say that again.
It's called Break Those Damn Rules, which is an intimate journey of self-discovery and overcoming adversities and my life lessons shared. So in that I do talk about the experience there, but you always got two sides of the coin. And I think for women that is going through violence, domestic violence, or feeling unequal, that is not just in South Africa, it's everywhere. There was a big movement here recently in the UK where a woman's body was found, and I started a big movement. I think it was called Men Too, but it was also about, we don't feel safe with our men around us, and that is a big concern, because you can't 100% blame the men for it, because it starts with parenting. So if that little boy was not parented properly, then I'm not making excuses for their actions, but I do. But Louise, you asked me, where does it start? And I 100% believe that it starts with the parenting. I think as parents, we are scared of reprimanding our children, and for some reason we want to be popular with them. We want them to perceive us as their friends, but we're not. We're not our children's friends. We are the parents. That is our duty. We are there to put in the safeguards, to teach them what is right and what is wrong, to put in the boundaries so that they don't move beyond it and teach them what is yes and what is no, to respect that. So I think there's a big breakdown in the gender equality going on. But then again, at the same time, I don't believe that we need to. I'm thinking of the word. It's a big word for this Afrikaans girl. Take the manhood away from emasculate. Don't emasculate our men. You know, they are different to us. They are stronger. They are born different. But I will not stand for my husband and my son and my father being called horrible names just because they are male. They are beautiful and they are strong and they're compassionate and they are tender and they are, you know, they've got all the aspects that I adore in a man. So we must be also careful of just putting a blanket out there and just say all men are trash. That's the most horrible thing I've ever heard in my life. And it makes men even more scared to stand up, you know, stand up for women and for themselves. So it's going to be a very fine balance, and I don't have all the answers, but I do believe it starts at home. And also, sorry, just one more, from the top, it always goes from the top. So what you see in your leaders, what you see, especially in your political figures, if you see them get away with things like gender inequality and abuse, then of course the population is going to say, well, they get away with it, why can't I get away with it? So it's also, you know, who we look up to. And every country's got their own set of influences. And I think in South Africa, a big one is the politicians. So that needs to be the spotlight as to who is our politicians and what do they look up to.
Sure, you've covered a lot in that brief discussion. But first of all, great that your father, husband, and son are all brave. So they're strong and they respect all of those values. So that is fantastic. So yes, if we can, and you're right, it starts with our leaders and it starts with our parents. So what is one tip you can give the parents on how they can teach their children to be brave?
I always, when I started, our son is the eldest, so he's 12 years old, and I always say to my husband and to him, I want you to be a boy that I would want to marry. And then now that I've got my little girl, she's 6, I want him to be in such a, I want him to be the person that my daughter will want to bring home. So he must be respectful. He must know what is right and what is wrong. And that I think we get wrong quite easily. And you know, I must also have compassion for single parents. As I said, there's a lot wrong and we can't fix it overnight, because I can easily sit here and say it starts with parenting, but I've been blessed to have a husband with me to co-parent my children. And I don't know if I would have been such a good parent if it wasn't for him helping me to balance, because I'm the impatient one. I just want to run in there and get things done, and you know, this is how you need to do it. And then my husband often have to rein me in and say, just whoa, they are just children. They're not, you know, they're not machines. So I'm blessed that I have that balance in my life. But I think, especially with single parents, they don't have that. I mean, most single mothers have to work 2-3 jobs to just put food on the table. They don't have the time and the energy to look after the children and reprimand them and put in rules and regulations and boundaries. I mean, by the time they get home, they are finished, and then they still got to, you know, cook and clean, make sure the kids have got something to eat for the next day. It's a whirlwind, and there is a big problem, you know, where government and communities should step up and not point fingers at the single mother households. Support them. That should be seen as the heroes. Don't even get me started on single parents.
Okay, so you said we need to
seriously, I think that is the biggest discrimination that's happening in this world, is the single parents.
Sure, that's another whole topic for another whole discussion.
Yes.
But you said we need to teach our children right from wrong. So we teach them, let's say, for example, that boys' locker room talk is wrong, but then they see the leaders doing it. So how do they know who is right? Is the leader right, or are you right?
Oh, that is so you are so right, because you've got, even in your household, you've got like funny little jokes that you're like, you can't say that joke in public, but you can say it in the household. And I think you need to be careful to start saying, like, okay, what are you actually teaching them then? When you say it's okay if it's just between us, but don't go out in the bigger world and say the same thing. Because that's where it starts, you know, because then they're going to start talking to their friends and say, oh, this is what we talk about. It's going to be a long process, Louise. You've chosen a very, very hard topic, because it is about being brave, and it's about being courageous, to stand up for what is wrong. And it takes courage to, if you see something that you know is wrong, and you do it anyway, you know, that is it's being a coward. And we need to teach our children to have that courage, and I think prep them, you know, when a situation comes up, or when you see something on the news or TV, or you've seen something in the street, have a conversation with the child and say, do you understand what happened here? Do you understand that this was wrong? The man wanted to hold the woman or grab her, and she said no, and he ignored her. How would you feel if I kept grabbing you and you kept saying no? That would take away your personal freedom. And that is what's happening to a woman on the street every day.
I like that.
Have these conversations.
I like that suggestion when they're watching movies, because there's so much violence and ugliness in the movies, to actually then sit them down and say, let's talk about what we've just seen in that movie and what is right and wrong about it. Oh, that's a great tip. So, wow, thanks, Lynn. There's a lot of information in that. I'll put your contact information underneath the video. So if people want to contact you and buy your book, what's the name again?
Break those damn rules.
Let's break those rules and let's all be brave. So thank you very much, and thank you, viewers, for being here today. So know that you too can be bold, you can be brave, and you can fly free.
Oh, you are such a beautiful person, Louise, and I wish you all the best. You are really starting a beautiful movement, and I hope you get all the support that you deserve.
Thank you, Lynn. And viewers, please join us again tomorrow for another edition of Brave Briefings. Thank you, and go well.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.